Hello, kindergarten friends. Today we're going to continue our work with inquiry, and we've been talking about harvest. We've learned where some of our foods come from, and we've been talking about popular foods that are grown in Indiana as well. And today we're going to start off our discussion with a question. Our question says, how does our food get to us? And we talked a little bit about that when we talked about the production of cheese and chocolate, and it showed a little bit of how it's made and then it's transported on a truck to the grocery store, which was really awesome. But we didn't really talk much about fresh food. So today we're going to make a connection, which remember that big word connection, it means a relationship in which a thing or idea is linked with something else. So we're going to make a connection of how our food gets inside our houses to us. So today we are talking about fresh food. We are talking about fresh food. So you can see here that I have a picture. I have a picture of some vegetables that came straight from someone's garden, some carrots, some tomatoes, maybe some sort of peppers. And then over here we have a whole bunch of different kinds of vegetables. And I didn't put any fruit on here. Oh yeah, there are some fruit. There is some fruit here as well. There is some apples and some grapes. So lots of fresh food, vegetables, and fruit. I'm going to pause right now. We're going to watch a little video called Farm to Table, learning about how we can get fresh fruits and vegetables from people's farms.
My mother was making pies for Thanksgiving. I was maybe 7 years old. She had the little scraps from the outside of the pies, and she would give me those scraps that were on the outside of the rim of the pie crust. So I would take those, I would roll them out myself. We put a little jam inside, fold them up, cinnamon sugar, and she would bake them off in the oven for me. Culinary arts was definitely something I was interested in, and it's been a passion of mine ever since then. And I would say that educating children in how to eat has also been my lifelong passion, teaching them how to eat so they will have a healthy life and eat well. My name is Chef Paul Buchanan from Primal Alchemy Catering. We like to focus on local, seasonal, and sustainable foods whenever possible. So we shop from the farmer's market, we use our local food producers, food growers, and also regionally. And we make everything we possibly can from scratch because we want you to know what goes in the food we make. And it was like the Swiss chard where I showed you, you turn the leaf and you hang it upside down and you take your finger on each side and there you go. There's your greens with all the hard part stripped out. So this stem will go for compost, and then these, I just break them into bite-sized pieces, take a little lemon, I squeeze that on there, a little olive oil, salt and pepper, and I massage it in a bowl, and then that's it. It's ready to eat, or I can put it in the refrigerator and I can keep it up to 4 and 5 days. When we don't source from out of country or very long distances, then we're saving a lot on fuel, petroleum, and our carbon footprint is very small when we source like that. The food that's here is all from farms in the surrounding area. They have to say where it comes from, they have to say on a piece of paper what chemicals they use, what fertilizers they use, you know, where they're based out of, where their farms are from, that this food is from. Sustainable farming is growing things that are in season, growing without pesticides so you don't have runoff to the local area, and not producing more things than you need. You don't want food waste. If you're depleting the soil and every time you grow a new vegetable, you have to add more nutrients, that is not a sustainable act. So a sustainable act when you're farming would be taking your scraps from all your vegetables or from your farmer's market when they don't want the tops of the carrots, when they don't want the tops of something. You save all that, bring it back, and you compost it, and then that becomes the nutrients that go back into the soil. That is a sustainable act. Today, much of our challenge is eating well comes down from choosing real food and avoiding the industrial novelties of processed foods. I think when people shop at the farmer's market, or even they're thinking about it, they think it's going to be more expensive. But when you're shopping at the farmer's market and you're buying things that are fresh, many times the farmers will have $3, $4, $5. If you can get 3 bunches of vegetables for $5, I think that is a great deal. You can get a bunch of carrots, you can get a bunch of beets that you can eat the tops and the beets, and you can get a head of cauliflower. So that could be vegetables for your family for a week for $5. There's been a 40-year campaign of telling people, hey, you're too fat, you're too fat, you're too fat. You gotta go on a diet, you gotta go on a diet. And you should eat no sugar, you should eat no fat, you should eat low this. If you eat the real food that's here, you don't have to worry about that.
All right, now that we had a chance to watch that video about fresh food, I have a special challenge for you today. My challenge for you today is to look inside your refrigerator or your pantry and find 2 fresh food items. So that would be some sort of vegetable or some sort of fruit. And then I want you to try to find out where they came from. And so some of those things might be a little bit tough for you if your family got them straight from the produce section, but some things that are fresh, they're inside different bags, or if you have like a bag of salad or a bag of carrots or potatoes, it will usually say where it was made. So this one says Idaho potatoes, so you know that these potatoes are from Idaho. And this says Bolthouse Farms carrots. And Bolthouse Farms, you can't see it on this front part of the bag, but it's on the back, and that is a popular brand from California. And I actually have some of those carrots in my fridge right now. And so I was thinking, what I want you to do after you find those 2 fresh food items, I want you to get out your lined paper and I want you to write where those foods came from. I think it's really important to think about where our food is coming from. It doesn't just come from the grocery store. We can look at labels of foods and we can search to see what area of the United States it came from. So I wrote one sentence. I drew my carrots, and then I wrote, my carrots are from California. And you can see my paper. So that's what I want you to do. I want you to find some items. If they're not fresh, that's okay. You can find other items in your pantry, but I'd like to see if you could maybe give yourself a challenge, because sometimes it can be harder to figure out where those fresh items are from, and it gets us really thinking about where our food comes from. So I hope you enjoyed our lesson today, and I hope you have fun.